Hi, everyone. This is Colleen Meyer, and I have Lafaya Mitchell. Lafaya is a licensed marriage and family therapist. She has these amazing uh, core four strategies, and she's going to talk about her four core strategies of the Lafaya way and how we can apply that to make you a better business owner, a better manager, and a better leader. So, Lafaya, tell us a little bit about the Lafaya way four core strategies.
Okay, so the four core for the Lafayette way, I think the best way for people to try to remember it is through an acronym that I use, FUR. And and I always say, my jokingly boots with the fur because it's the long R, right?
Right.
And in the four steps, it gives you everything it is that you need in order to be able to connect and relate to others in a way that will promote peace, will cause both parties to feel validated, and it gives a sense that, hey, we're on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
So with the four core, you have your first step, and I'll call them steps. I don't know. I feel like I almost want to call them ingredients, but first step is to find your calm. Okay. Now, most of the time in upsetting situations or situations that may not initially be as upsetting, but kind of escalate and become more upsetting, then what you'll find is either one person came in maybe calm, the other person came in upset, and then you have two upset parties. And then they're trying to interact with one another and they're kind of vibing off that negative energy. So what we want to do is we want to kind of break the power of that and create a situation where now there can be open communication, which has to start with, of course, finding your calm.
Mm-hmm.
Second step, which I think we'll be discussing the second step in depth today, or are we going to do it all four today?
Now let's do all four because
Okay.
that way they can kind of put it together and where you're going with it.
Okay, so first step, find your calm. Remember, we're thinking of this almost like ingredients too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Find your calm. Second is to understand the real truth. So in any situation where you're not getting along with another person, then you can just about guarantee that they didn't wake up in the morning thinking, oh yes, it's my joy in life to be in
Mm-hmm.
disagreement later on. I mean, during my day today, or to be upset, right? Nobody's really waking up saying that. And when they're in a
Mm-hmm.
good space, they're not saying that. So if you're understanding the real truth, then most of the time we can at least get to a place in space where we're like, okay, well, this is not where I want to be. I don't want to be upset. And I'm sure they don't want to be in the same space, even if they're saying things that are silly or whatever. They likely don't want to be in that space either. So let's try to
Mm-hmm.
figure it out, right? And understanding the real truth can also include other things like, are they having a bad day? Am I having a bad day? Am I extra
Mm-hmm.
sensitive, overly reactive? Because maybe if we did the HALT check-in, hungry, angry, lonely, tired through 12-step program, you figure out that, hey, if I had lunch today, if I had a snack or something, or even breakfast today, then I might not be having such a big reaction. Or if I got enough rest last night, I may not be as frustrated, right? But understanding the real truth helps you, first of all, to keep from personalizing what other people are doing, but it
Mm-hmm.
also keeps you from taking yourself so seriously when you feel really upset, because usually there's a lot going on behind some upset. Okay. So understand the real truth, react according to your truest intentions. Oh my goodness.
I
Now,
love
if you
that
listen to
one.
the first, yeah, if you listen to the then what you find is that you are literally growing in your way to react according to your truest intentions. When you react according to your truest intentions, you're not going to be as upset. You're not going to be overreactive. You're going to react according to what it is you truly want to have happen. So, and like I said, most of us are desirous of good things, not terrible things, right? So
Right.
react according to your truest intentions. And then the last of the four steps is what I call my three R's. And that's to recognize small step changes. This is what causes the longevity of a
Mm-hmm.
thing. Okay? So when you recognize small steps, what does that do? It eliminates hopelessness for one, because now you're
Right.
seeing the change, right? One of
Right.
some of the biggest gripes is I try so hard and nothing ever changes, right? But that usually happens even when a person has made small measures of change, because people haven't learned to pick up on the small steps so that they can properly reinforce that second R with
Right.
the three R's, right? Properly reinforce it, because now I want to contribute to getting more of that thing that I want. I want to keep putting
Mm-hmm.
more energy into getting more of that instead of complaining about the things I don't want, which is putting energy into the things you don't want, which gets you more of what you don't want.
Exactly.
R is to repeat. So we're just vacillating through the 4 steps. It's not that you're doing them in specific order. It's that you understand that all 4 are necessary in order to create the type of connectivity
Mhm.
and relationship that you want with other people.
And I like this because, a lot of business owners, a lot of managers, a lot of leaders, um, they don't, the most uncomfortable part of their job is confrontation,
Yes.
and having to sit down, especially, if you're dealing with an employee that what we consider maybe a difficult employee or someone who's resistant to feedback. And sometimes when we sit down and we have a conversation with them, that they're reacting because whatever it is, they don't like feedback, they don't want to change, whatever it is. But it's very important. What you said was following the 4 core strategies. Find your calm, and I love what you said because don't let them suck you into being upset. I think because I've been doing business for 30 odd years, and once they suck you in and you have lost control of your emotions, you're done.
Yep.
You're going to say something, right, Lafay? You're going to say something that's going to get you in trouble. You're going to do something that's going to get you in trouble, which goes to what you said, which was understand the real truth. And for business owner, manager, leader, someone who's managing people, I think that's very important. What's your real truth? React according to your truest intentions. A lot of times, if you're trying to put someone on an action plan, you're trying to make that person, let's figure out why you're late all the time. Maybe they're not morning people. You put them on the afternoon schedule, because your true intention is finding a solution to the problem. And that these things can kind of get in the way. And then you have the 3 R's: recognize, reinforce, and repeat. I love that because we always want to reinforce the behavior we want repeated.
Yes.
So tell me, and tell everyone with that listening to us right now, how have you used it? Have you used it in the business realm? How have you? And I know that you support businesses already. You've done this, and tell us, like, what kind of feedback did you get? Can you tell us a little bit maybe about an experience that you had and how it worked out and how it played out, without any names or anything, of course? Do you want
Okay,
to share that with us?
so yes, I'll share experiences, but I was excited about the example that you gave about the person being late to work, because
Mm-hmm.
these are the kind of situations you really don't know quite how to deal with, right? And so when a person is late to work, when you're working the 4 core, then like I said, you're finding your calm first, because if you have an attitude, if you're frustrated, irritated, judging that employee for
Mm-hmm.
whatever, for being
Right.
late and all those kind of things, then when you approach them, the likelihood of them being very receptive of what it is you're saying is very low. So those who come and they're just coming, indignant, with all this negative energy, usually that's what they get back. Whether it be by way of the person kind of giving it back to them, kind of being argumentative as well, or the person will just be passive aggressive, and they'll wait until you leave and they still won't do what it is you told them to do, right?
Yes.
And so
Yes.
when we're looking to find your calm, that's like your first step is to come to them with the right energy space. You want for them to draw from you a peaceful energy space, because then that leaves it open for them to be receptive. That leaves it open for you to now have influence, which is very important in management. You need to have influence. You need to have influence as an employee. But
Yes.
when you're understanding, like I said, when you're understanding the real truth in that, then you can start to think of things like, oh, okay, I wonder if they may have a family issue. I wonder if, this time of day doesn't work for them. Perhaps they need a different shift to be more efficient,
Mm-hmm.
effective, right? And
Right.
then you're working on this is all moving you where? Into the solutions focus. So you're moving out of emotions and into solutions, which is very important in business. And
Right.
then reacting according to your true intentions, like you said, you're really looking to impress upon the employee, to influence the employee to do what it is you're asking them to do, or to be productive in a way that's necessary for the efficient running of your business. And if you're argumentative, if you're upset, if you're angry or doing all these things, then you're not going to get what it is you truly intend to get, right? And then
Right.
so, but anyway, I love that example that you gave. So, but I'll give examples of businesses that I've worked with because I have done things like staff developments.
Hmm.
Interestingly, I started out mostly in parenting, right? And
Right.
then what I found out, kept finding out from the parents is, oh my goodness, this worked in my marriage. This worked for me at work. This worked for me here and
Hmm.
there, right? And so like,
Right.
so they're like, because this is about relationship. This is about relationship. This is about interaction,
Yes. Yes.
circumstances. But now through agencies, through companies, through nonprofits and for-profit companies, I've been able to go in and train, do staff development trainings based in the Lafaya way. And what I hear back from them, the feedback that I get is they're like, oh my goodness, it makes so much sense. I don't know why we've never heard it like this before. Like
Hmm.
this is so good. We should already know to do these things. Like this just makes sense is what I get most of
Yes.
the time. And so, but yeah, it's an interesting philosophy because I didn't expect that it would be, kind of outgoing the way that it's going, and being so effective for businesses.
You know what I think why it is effective for businesses is because it's businesses are relationships, right? That's what a business is. It's the people. A business is the people. It's not the four walls and the roof and all this stuff. It's the people that work there. So whether you're dealing with your parent or a spouse or significant other, or you're working as a manager, you're dealing with people in some sort of relationship. And I even heard someone say years ago, when you're driving down the freeway and the people that are around you, you have some sort of a relationship, not as like we would do every day, but you're all in that same space trying to get somewhere and get somewhere safely. And when I looked at it from that perspective, it's like, you know we're humans and we're surrounded by humans, and we just have to learn to better communicate if we want to be successful, whether it's in business, as a parent, or in a relationship, or to make sure you make it to work on time without having an accident. So finding your calm, understanding the real truth, react according to your truest intentions, and the three R's: recognize, reinforce, and repeat. And I'm telling you, I love number 4 because we always focus on the negatives. We focus on the 80, when you're at work, we focus on the 80% of people that aren't doing what they're supposed to do, or on some level, right? And the 20% that are doing everything and driving production, we ignore them,
Tend to
right?
forget all about them. Yep. Yep. And now for that retention of the good employee,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and for that improvement in productivity,
Yes.
because employee morale is a huge deal. And I mean, there's been a lot of research done for people happy with what they're getting from their managers or leaders of their companies and all that. What you get are those who work so much harder. They actually have the availability of energy to work harder. So for some, if they hate their jobs, it may not even be that they purposely mean not to be as productive. It's just
Mm-hmm.
now because a lot of their energy is given over now to hating their job or
Mm-hmm.
being uncomfortable in the space that they're in, just trying to figure out how to be comfortable. Then that takes the energy that's needed to be as productive. And
You
so
know,
we're looking at an extreme. This is extreme here. This is what really can make the big bucks, to have that high quality work ethic, those high quality employees, to retain those and appreciate those who are putting in the work is most important.
yeah, I agree with that, and I think where your core 4 strategies what really work is, right now when everybody's getting back to work and a lot of people are still hybrid, some people are going to stay hybrid. So putting, as a manager, as a leader, as a business owner, putting those type of um, core skills to work is going to make it a lot easier. And I think when we start creating an unhealthy environment at work, or the work environment is stressful, the people that leave are your good people. And the people who stay are your people who don't think they can get a job or can't get a job somewhere else. And so using these four core strategies is amazing. So let's say somebody wanted to get a hold of you and say, you know what, Lafaya, I want to hear more about your four core strategies. And I would like you to support me on that because I'm struggling as a business owner, leader, um, manager. And how can they get a hold of you? And what would that look like?
Now, the many ways to contact me are found on my website. I make it
Mhm.
really, really easy. So if you visit lafayaway.com, then you will definitely be able to find me in one way or another, even if it's to contact me. We have our contact us page, but it'll send you to, if you just want to get a feel for what it is that I talk about, what it is that I
Mhm.
do, then you can visit my YouTube channel at
Mhm.
Lafayaway. If you want to check out my business page on Facebook, you can check that out at Lafayaway. You can really get a feel for what it is that I'm doing by searching me by my name.
I love it. I love it. And I went ahead and put your website in the chat comments for everyone. They wanted to get a hold of you. And again, Lafaya, I know we were wanted to keep it to under 30 minutes, but can you just give it to us one more time? The Lafaya way, the four core strategies which they can use for business to manage people are. Can you give us a quick rundown and share how that you know how they can apply to their business?
Yes. Okay. So rundown, four core, four steps. Remember, FIR is our acronym. So find your calm is first. Very important because we want to contribute the energy that we want in the
Mhm.
situation, the conversation, right? Find your calm first because we're not looking for anger. Understand the real truth, right? So you need to understand what's really going on with not only the other person, but with yourself first.
Mm.
So do a self check in, do an evaluation. First of all, am I coming to this more upset because I'm having a hard day, a tough day, because I've been bored, because I've been anxious, because now I'm moving from being at home with COVID, dealing with the COVID issue, shelter in place issue, and now I'm back in the work environment. Was I already anxious getting there, right? Understand the real truth. Are they anxious because they're in this new situation, right?
Mhm.
And then react according to your truest intentions, because that is the precipice. That is of the utmost importance to
Mhm.
react according to your truest intentions. If you're not true to yourself, then trust and believe you'll be more upset in your interactions with others because you're working against yourself, for one. And then you'll also be less inclined to get your needs met when you're not reacting according to your truest intentions. Who are you really? How do you really want to come across? How do you really want to show up in conversations? And if someone were to say, "Hey, this is how this person is in this reaction right here, right now," would that be something that you want to attach yourself to? So react according to your truest intentions. And then my final three R's are to recognize the small. This is, remember, longevity keeping. Recognize the small step differences. This is what keeps hope alive. And this is
It
what,
makes people feel good, though. When
yes.
people try to, you ask somebody in the workplace to do A, B, C, and D, and they do it. We have to recognize that.
And highly reinforce it. That's why the three R's come together. Highly reinforce it when you recognize it, even if it's the smallest step difference. If their productivity was they got 5 done 1 week, and then you had a little talk with them and they got 6 done the following week, you want to
Mm-hmm.
go to them. And what you wanted was 10, though. Remember, that 6 is moving you closer to the mark. And if you put energy into that 6, then it'll move you closer to that 7, which move you closer to the 8, to the 9, to the 10. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to focus on the thing. Is it what a lot of people will make the mistake in doing is they will speak with someone, they will be getting the 5 productivity out of them. The person will get to a 6, you'll tell them, hey, I need a 10 out of you. They'll get the 6, and then you'll still come to them complaining you're still not getting that 10. And so what does that do? Since it ruins morale, it invalidates the improvement and all
Yes.
that. They say, well, what's the point? Even when I try harder, they don't care anyway. So I might as well just go back. And then they end up at a 4, right? So
Right.
recognize the small step differences, reinforce them highly, and understand that you're consistently repeating the 4 steps. And if you're out of step with either any of the 4, I always tell people, think about it like you would the ingredients to a cake. If you're missing one of those key ingredients like the salt, which you wouldn't expect, or the flour, or the sugar, or the yeast, you're either going to end up with a very nasty cake or a very ugly cake, or both. And so
Hmm.
that's how tis the way of life as well. When you're missing one of these ingredients, you're going to end up with ugliness and nastiness surrounding you. So don't wonder why. It's you're missing an ingredient. Add the ingredient.
Okay, well, thank you, Lafaya, for coming in and talking to us about the core four strategies of the Lafaya Way by Lafaya Mitchell. And I went ahead and put your website again in the chat box, www.lafayaway.com. And they can also find you on Facebook. You have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, and you're on Instagram.
Yes. Instagram and
And
LinkedIn.
YouTube. And YouTube.
I'm everywhere.
All right, Lafayette. Well, thanks for coming in and sharing that amazing advice for business owners and managers and leaders. We appreciate you.
Yeah, bye everybody.
Bye.